Hey guys, since we have nothing to talk about and Kaalaa Baunaa has her banner, which allows you to pull for her right now, I figured why not go over how to play Kaalaa Baunaa right now. And I discovered that she is very unique when it comes to how to play her. So this is a pretty interesting video actually. Now to figure out what is going on, you have to be aware of the fact that you stack planets by using your incantations. And since we're at P3 here, we can stack up to 4 planets. Usually it would only be 3. Keep that in mind. Her incantation number 1 deals little damage. Like Kaalaa Baunaa's biggest problem and why she is so incredibly bad is because she just doesn't hit the numbers at all. You can see this right here, for example. We are at P3 and our one target attack deals only 195 damage, and that damage is already boosted, right? So the number is not quite accurate, it is actually less. And with a one target attack you want to hit 200% damage, otherwise it's not enough, and it's the case with Kaalaa Baunaa. But after you actively cast this incantation, you create a planet Saturn, and the more planets of Saturn you stack up, the more penetration rate you will obtain. Her incantation number 2 is a mass attack that hits 2 enemies and also doesn't hit the numbers. It's not enough, it has to be at least 150, this is 135, and the number is actually lower because this one here is a little bit boosted. Here you gain the planet Mars. You generate the planet Mars whenever you actively use this incantation. This Mars planet gives you leech rate. The more Mars planets you stack up, the more leech rate you will have. You can already figure that stacking up on penetration rate is much better, and that is what you primarily want to do. So you are pretty much all about your incantation number 1. Additionally, like whenever you would use this, you would grant yourself 1 planet Saturn, right? Ranking these incantations up though would grant you more planets of Saturn, which makes you much more efficient and much faster. So ranking up her incantations is very beneficial. Then, looking at her ultimate, it will remove every single planet that you have available. And if you look at her inside 3, that after you cast the ultimate, you gain an effect based on what planets you actually remove by using your ultimate. And again, you would stack up on penetration rate if you remove Saturn, you would gain leech rate if you remove planets of Mars by this, and you use your incantation number 1 as a follow-up attack if the most amount of planets that you consume by using your ultimate are Saturns. Same goes for incantation number 2 and Mars. Now the ultimate has something special because it gives you a planet called full moon, and this full moon, and the more you have, the more your incantation might goes up. Additionally, what's very cool is that if you now use your ultimate the second time, and if you consume a large amount of full moons, right? If you consume more full moons than any other planet, then you would enter the empowered incantation number 2 for as many turns as you have consumed full moons. That is very important. So you want to, the second time you use your ultimate, you want to accomplish that you consume as many full moons as possible. And how you accomplish that is very interesting. So let me show you how this exactly works in battle. First of all, let's go over team building real quick, since Kaalaa Baunaa is kind of a jack of all trades. She is all about using, a lot about her is using her ultimate. So you could play her in an ultimate archetype team actually, and she's a main DPS, right? You need to use her incantations and accumulate Moxie with her non-stop, otherwise that's not gonna work. She's a main DPS, keep that in mind. She has follow-up attacks based on how many planets are consumed with her ultimate. She will use certain incantation as a follow-up attack, so she also fills that role. Then it is very, very beneficial to rank her incantations up, and she even does that for herself at some point. That needs some rank up, but she does it herself, and that would make her a part of the rank up team as well. But then again, you would have to use her as a main DPS, and you can't do that because she just doesn't hit the numbers and she's way too weak. So that's the bummer about her. But a Euphoria update for her, it would be very, very interesting. She has a unique playstyle, as I will demonstrate in just a second, and you can go everywhere with her, right? She could be the new main DPS for the follow-up, the new main DPS for the ultimate, and the new main DPS for the rank up team. Whatever the developers decide to do, they have like free hands here with Kaalaa. For team building without a Euphoria update, right? If you just pull for her and you want to play her right now, then you would have to go the route, like I would pair her together with Pickles and Flutterpage. You can play her with Melania together. That is very, very beneficial to accumulate more Moxie for her, to accumulate more full moons and unlock that ultimate, right? I think that would actually right now be like the best team for her here. Her would be Pickles, Melania, and then a healer of your choice. That would probably be like the very best team for her at the moment. But now enough of that. You can see, by the way, her Psycube is Luxurious Lisa. You want to give her anything that would increase her the damage output with her ultimate, and since Luxurious Lisa stacks upon based on how many ultimates we use, how often we use our ultimates, that is actually the perfect fit for Kaalaa right now. Now let's jump into battle now. And of course, like the very first thing that you want to accomplish is you want to unlock her ultimate. And before you unlock her ultimate, you want to accumulate as many Saturn planets as possible. So while using your ultimate, Saturn planets will get consumed and you will stack up upon penetration rate as much as you possibly can. How do you do that? You use your incantation number 1. Each time you use this, you will accumulate planets, and yeah, that's like what you're going for. I have this 3 times thanks to my, yeah, I play her in a series of Dusk here, and it allows me to accumulate additional incantations, but don't worry about this too much. You want to use your incantation number 1 as much as possible. You want to, if you can, refrain from using your incantation number 2, because you only want Saturn planets, not Mars. And to do that, you move these incantations, you combine them if you can, to not only not gain planets of Mars, but also gain Moxie faster, right? And remember, if it's possible, then you want to rank up your incantations, because that is very, very beneficial. And there we go. We were now able to unlock her ultimate already in round 2. And you can see these yellow planets here around Kaalaa Baunaa. Those tell us that we have 3 planets of Saturn accumulated. Now we can stack up, thanks to us having some portraits, we can stack up onto 4 planets though. We don't necessarily would have to do that, because our ultimate consumes only 3 planets anyways, right? So there we go, we don't have to do that. And that's it. You accumulate planets of Saturn. Those will be then consumed by your ultimate. This will stack up on penetration rate, and then you can gonna see now these planets, all 3, they will be consumed. Now I could go nuts with her because I have stacked up penetration rate. You don't actually want to do this though. Why? Because your ultimate generates full moons, and you want to keep these full moons until you have your ultimate ready again. So you can't use incantations, because those incantations, they would consume planets, and you don't want to do that. Let me read real quick. Here you can see that you gain 3 planets of full moon. Now, since we have portraits, we can have 4 planets. So we are allowed to use 1 incantation, because then we have 4 planets accumulated, 1 Saturn, 3 full moons. And from that point on is where Kaalaa Bauna's playstyle is very interesting, because then we don't want to use any incantations anymore, because again we want to unlock our ultimate a second time so that we can consume full moons by using our ultimate. And this is very, very unique to Kaalaa Baunaa. No other character in this game works that way. So we still want to use all our AP to move incantations, so that we accumulate Moxie right out of the gate again after using her ultimate, to unlock her ultimate a second time as fast as we possibly can. You see, we have 3 Moxie already accumulated. Now we only need 2 to gain our ultimate one more time. And that is exactly what we aim for. Because you can see here around white planets around Kaalaa Baunaa, those are full moons. And those are the ones that we want to consume by using our ultimate. That's why we should refrain right now from using her incantations. Because using her incantations again, that would consume these planets, and that is not what we want at all. And then after, after we use her ultimate a second time, that is the time where we then go completely nuts and aim to end the battle. We are, as you can see here, we will have already like ranked up incantations number 2. So use your ultimate, those will consume the full moons, and from now on every incantation that you gain will be ranked up to level 2 and level 3, and this will allow you to go completely nuts with her from this point on. And that's really all about when it comes to how to play Kaalaa Baunaa. Very, very interesting how this actually works. It again, like, she doesn't hit the numbers, she needs a lot of ramp up and all that stuff, and that's why she's just flat out a bad character, you know. But nonetheless, I think that video was very, very interesting to make. I did not know that Kaalaa plays like this, right? So I had fun making this video. I hope you guys also had fun. I hope that was informative. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, don't forget to join the Discord server, link to that in the description below, and we love this game.